Hi, my name is Kevin Grote, and this is your MVM preview of Orion's Spur by Fiero Initiative. So in Orion's Spur, each person takes on the role of a different species, and you are the commander of a fleet in a giant epic space battle against your opponents. Each player gets a number of different ships that they can both start with and acquire over the course of the game, and hopefully, by destroying enough of your enemy's ships, you'll gain enough points to win. So let's talk a little bit about how you play Orion's Spur. So in Orion's Spur, you're going to start with 3 ships. You're going to start with 2 frigates and a destroyer. Each alien species and the one Terran species, they all have the same type of ships, but their stats are a little bit different, and each species has some unique abilities that they get to take advantage of. So to set up the game, the first thing you're going to do is choose which species you'd like to be, and you're going to take their deck of ship cards along with their deck of tactics cards. So the first thing you're going to do after acquiring your ship cards is lay them out in front of you in 2 rows. So you're going to start with 2 frigates and a destroyer. You can lay them out in front of you like this, or you can put them all in a single column. Now the reason that matters is because you are allowed 2 rows of ships, and each row can consist of 5 ships total. Then at the very back of your fleet, you will have 1 ship that is basically in like a 3rd row all by itself, and that is your flagship. Over the course of the game, you're going to be able to acquire newer ships that are stronger and better, and anytime you do that, the strongest ship that you own will always be at the back as your flagship. So the reason you would lay things out in certain ways is part of the strategy of the game, and your enemy can only attack ships that are in the very front row, or if a ship in the front row has been destroyed, then and only then can they attack ships in the 2nd row. So you can be pretty strategic with your placement and forcing your opponents to only attack the ships that you want them to attack. So once you've got your ships laid out in front of you, you're going to draw 7 cards from your tactics card deck, and you're going to place tokens on all of your ships. And so the tokens represent the stats of the different ships, and each ship's stats are located in the top corner. And so in this case, this ship has 2 shields, 3 hull strength, and 2 energy. So shields are going to protect your ship. If the hull of the ship ever takes damage equal to this number here, then it is destroyed. And so shields give you a little bit of extra strength. And then the energy is what you use to fire weapons and take actions with your ships. So on your turn, you're going to choose one of your ships to activate. And once you've activated that ship, you're allowed to do multiple attacks, assuming you have the energy and can afford to. So let's say with this frigate here, which has 2 energy, let's say we play this attack card here, Ship Missiles. So in the top corner of the card, we can see that the ship missiles have an energy requirement of 1. So we would remove 1 energy token from our frigate here, and our missiles are going to deal 2 damage to the opponent's ship, whichever ship we choose. But keep in mind, you can only attack the ships in the front row. After that has been done, our card will get discarded, and we have 1 energy left. Now, unfortunately, in my hand, I don't have anything else that I can use that only requires 1 energy, so that would be the end of this ship's actions. However, if I had activated my destroyer and used my missiles, it would still have 2 energy left, which might be enough for a different type of attack. Whenever you're being attacked, you have the opportunity to play a reaction card, and reactions do many different things. Sometimes, like this evasion right here, it allows you to just simply evade all the damage that would have been caused. Other times, they allow you to counter attack. And so some cards like this phased laser here show an attack icon and a reaction icon combined. And so what that means is that you can use this when you activate a ship to take a normal attack action, spending 3 energy, dealing 3 damage, or when someone else attacks your ship, you can do it as a reaction. It essentially works as a counterattack, assuming you have 3 energy to spend. And if you do, and you spend that energy, then you'll deal 3 damage back to the attacking ship. So I did mention that you can't attack a ship that is in your opponent's back row. But if a ship in your opponent's back row attacks you, you can counterattack with a reaction card. So that is one of the best ways to deal damage to your opponent's larger ships, is to maybe hold on to some of your reaction cards. So, after all of that has been taken care of and your ship is finished activating, then you have some secondary actions, which the secondary actions can be played before or after your main action, but there are a few to choose from. One of those secondary actions is to play a repair card. There are a number of different repair cards, and they do a variety of different things, generally repairing your hull or your shields. Then there are also captains. Each species has 1 captain in their deck with this icon here, and it allows you to draw 3 cards. This is really the only way to draw a good number of cards during your turn, because once per turn you can discard 1 card from your hand to draw a new card, but other than that, you're not going to be drawing a lot of cards. So, after you're done with your main action and all of the secondary actions that you can or want to play, then what you're going to do is you're going to acquire 1 recruitment point, and recruitment points are what you will spend to acquire new ships. So, I mentioned attacking, but other than attacking, there's another very important main action that you can take during the game, and that is a regroup action. Now, what a regroup action does is it allows you to redraw up to your hand limit of 7 cards, which can be very convenient because over time you'll be playing them, and eventually you're going to run out of cards in your hand. So, this gives you a chance to refill your hand. However, keep in mind that when you take a regroup action, you do not do any attacking that turn. Another thing that you get to do is spend your recruitment points to acquire new ships. So you'll look through your deck, and you'll see the recruitment cost of each ship, and you'll buy as many as you want, assuming you can afford them. And so whether you acquire a new ship or not, what you then do is rearrange your fleet. At least you have the opportunity to. Now, if you did acquire a new ship and it is more powerful than anything else you have out there, then that ship would go in the back and become your new flagship. If it was something weaker than what you currently had as your flagship, you still get to rearrange your fleet. If you didn't buy anything, you can rearrange your fleet. And so a lot of the strategy in this game comes in how you arrange your fleet and where you place your different ships. Because if you have a ship that's only 1 point of damage away from exploding, then it might be smart to move that to the back row and put something else in front of it to kind of protect it. Especially if it's a big, powerful ship that has a lot of energy, because those big, powerful ships can do really big, powerful attacks. So the goal of the game is to be the first player to acquire 10 points. The way that you do that is by destroying your opponent's ships. Each ship has a victory point value over here, and as you can see, this one here has 2. Over the course of the game, anytime you destroy a ship, you get to take that ship card from your opponent and you get to hold on to it as a trophy of the number of points that you've gained. First 1 to 10 wins. So that's kind of your basics of how to play. But let's talk about a few extra things that you can do. You might have noticed that at the bottom of each ship card, there is some text and sometimes some icons, and that's because each ship has its own unique action that it can take. A lot of ships have basic attacks that they can make, like this light laser here, which costs 2 energy and deals 2 damage. This light laser can be used as a regular main attack action or as a reaction. So another thing that you can do in the game is when attacking, you are allowed to overcharge your ship. And so what that means is, let's say this frigate here would like to make an attack. It has 2 energy to work with. Well, let's say you have an attack card that requires 3 energy. What you can do is overcharge your ship. And so you spend what you have, and if you're only 1 away, then you'll turn it sideways. And when you do that, you've overcharged your ship and you get 1 extra energy to work with. So you can deal 1 big attack. However, from this point on, this ship can't do anything. it is essentially useless. It can't make reactions. All it's going to do is sit here and take damage. But when you take your regroup action, you do get to return it back to its normal position and refill its energy along with all your other ships. But that can be a great way to kind of make one final push or get an extra strong attack that you couldn't afford otherwise. Another thing is each species has their own special ability that they can use that is only available to them. Those are listed here on the reference sheet, and so you can read each one and see what your specific species does before you pick which one you're going to play as during the game. So that is Orion's Spur. All in all, it's a solid sci-fi space battle card game where you've got some interesting decisions to make. The rules are generally simple, but there's a decent amount of complexity that come in all the different cards. If that sounds like a game that you would be interested in, check out the description of this YouTube video. There will be a link to the Kickstarter there. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to MVM. My name is Kevin Grote, and I will do my best to answer any questions you have in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.